Look at this beastly seed pod in the enchanting white flower that is now growing alone in a field that will soon become a housing development. Will future residents here know its storied past? Will they know that in medieval Europe, witches brewed it and native tribes around the world feared it? Datura stramonium, otherwise known as Jimsonweed, has continually danced on the edge of legend.
One gnarly looking plant.
It's sometimes called Devil's Trumpet for its horn-like flowers and deliriant powers. It's fueled ritualized visions and has caused terrible tragedies.
It was a nightmarish experience.
Its seeds harbor scopolamine, atropine, and hyoscyamine, which blur the line between dreams and nightmares.
Check this out.
But the real mystery I need to understand is why does it have such a long history of use? And yet any sane person knowing the secrets inside will tell you to keep this botanical wonder away from your medicine cabinet. And that is why I'm here in this clearing in the American Southeast, to give you a close-up view of this misunderstood plant. I want to show you guys today this incredible plant. It is something that if you're walking by it, you're going to stop and you're going to see it because it has these beautiful white flowers with just a little purple inside. It has these massive spiky seed pods, and it's just a beautiful plant. But why it's really fascinating is not just because of the seed pods and not because of the flowers, it's because of the incredible chemistry inside. This plant is best known for these three alkaloids, and all of them are known as tropane alkaloids, because they all have a tropane ring structure as their backbone. This class of compounds is found in the deadly nightshade family, which includes all the daturas, belladonna, henbane, and mandrake. Those are all plants that have been associated with witches and witchcraft in Europe. But it should also be noted that your tomatoes and potatoes are also in this family. They don't contain tropane alkaloids, so you're somewhat safe. However, tomatoes do contain tomatin in their leaves, stems, and unripe fruits. They also contain small amounts of solanine, mildly toxic in large amounts, which can cause gastrointestinal problems and some dizziness, headaches, and fevers. But again, only in the leaves, stems, and unripe fruits. So that's just a fun fact, but back to this plant. To start, let's look at the common names of this plant, because common names give us some insight into how it was used. It goes by the name thornapple, devil's trumpet, mad apple, stinkweed, loco weed, even devil's snare, hell's bells, witch's herb, or just datura. All of those names start to point to what people didn't understand before, but was the rich chemistry inside. Let's pick apart each of these chemicals. First, atropine. Medicinally, it's used to dilate pupils, which are good for eye exams. It also reduces saliva and treats bradycardia. But high doses are toxic, causing dry mouth, confusion, hallucinations, and tachycardia. Scopolamine can be used medicinally in small amounts to prevent motion sickness and as a mild sedative. But if the dose is too high, it can cause severe hallucinations, delirium, and respiratory depression. Hyoscyamine can be used medicinally to reduce gastrointestinal motility and as an antispasmodic. But again, if the dose is high, it's not good. It will cause blurred vision and hallucinations. And all of this could lead to possible death. At this stage, I want to make sure that nobody tries this plant. This is a seed pod right here, and inside are a bunch of seeds. Oh gosh, that definitely would be a lethal dose. Just those small number of seeds. Plus, scientists have found there is up to a 10-fold difference in the concentration of these compounds within a plant, between young and old plants, and between plants growing in different soil conditions. That means it is super dangerous to even measure a dose from a wild plant, and thus, you should never attempt to take it. But I don't want you to just take my word for it. I found somebody who has a first-hand experience with Datura, and we're gonna see what they have to say about it. Coming in. He didn't want to be on camera, in part because this is an account that nobody wants to go through.
It's really like the back of your head.
A friend of mine found some Datura. I had never heard of it. And so I just trusted that my friend kind of knew what he was talking about, and it was all good. And so we did it. This is where I could have died. Like, I would never take it again. I felt like I was having the same thought pattern over and over and over again. And it was like disconnected thoughts. Like, where's my wallet? I can't trust that person. Why do I feel so sick? I need to go to the bathroom. Where's my wallet? I don't feel good. Like, it was just the same thing over and over and over again. I was just delirious, but like my body hurt. Like, I didn't feel good. this is the most dangerous substance I've ever done in my life. It almost sent me to the hospital and possibly to the morgue. It is not going to be fun.
So this still begs the question, if it is such a terrible experience, why was it used so widely in the past? Well, here are a few stories to think about. First, the ethnobotanist Wade Davis has claimed that Datura here is the source of real-life zombies in Haiti. That was after this person came back from the dead 18 years after he was buried. Essentially, the claim was that a witch doctor used tetrodotoxin to make him look dead. Then he was buried. He was then dug up and given Datura slowly over the next 18 years. This made him delirious, hallucinate, highly suggestive. Essentially, he was a slave in the cane fields until he managed to break free. In this case, it was possibly used as a way to control people. Now in Europe, as the legend goes, it was used by witches as flying ointments. Apparently, if you rub it on the mucous membranes of the skin, maybe with a broomstick, it would induce visions of flight and contact with the spirits. Over the pond, however, in the Americas, Chumash shamans used a related datura in a coming-of-age ritual called the Tulash ceremony. Young initiates drank the potion and were guided by elders into a night of visions. But it was not gentle. The visions were terrifying, disorienting, and often left initiates on the edge of life and death. It was said that the plants showed them both their shadow and their destiny. I have some thoughts and conclusions, but first, I want to actually give a big thank you to NOLA Mattresses. That's the one right there. They're sponsoring this episode, and there's a reason for that. A lot of you know that we run retreats. We try to make sure people have an experience out in nature, but also can sleep well at night. I'm also trying to upgrade my sleep at home, which is why I partnered with NOLA. And NOLA is an award-winning mattress brand. They specialize in cooling technology, which is something I really like to do, sleep cool. They're known for the long-lasting durability, pressure relief, and the fact that it is conveniently shipped to your door in a package like that. It's actually pretty fun to pull it out, tiny that packs up, cut the plastic, and watch the thing blow up.
Whoa, I'm like rising.
But it's the perfect firm for me, I think, because you can lay on the top, but they have this cooling technology in the top layer there where you sink down into the mattress just a little bit. It relieves some of the pressure off of my back, which means I don't wake up with a backache. Sometimes I do when I'm working out a lot. And Haley, in fact, is sleeping better.
Woke up and it's 11 a.m.
NOLA has a great website. You can scroll through, find what your sleep preferences are, and then they have a 120-day guarantee. So that's pretty awesome. You can test out your mattress. I think you're gonna like it though. So go to the link nolamattress.com/stoneageman. You can get $50 off of your purchase on top of any of the existing offers they already have. Use the code StoneAgeMan. Thanks again to NOLA for sponsoring this video. Now back to Datura. I wish you all could smell how incredible this plant smells. So here are some of my thoughts and conclusions. All throughout time, our species has had relationships with plants, especially those that can give us an altered sense of consciousness. And in the past, if you lived in the rainforest, the desert, or the tundra, you were choosing local plants. You didn't have the wide selection we have today. And the shaman knew the plants. They were off limits to experimental use, and as this plant shows, for good reason.
The worst trip of my life.
Today, our society is full of a mass of people flowing through it, and initiation ceremonies are all but banned by the superpowers that be. Coming-of-age ceremonies, like the Chumash had with Datura, are all but gone. We've also lost the organizational structure and the shaman that would know how to use it. Now, I can't recommend ever using this plant in the same way, in part because of the loss, but also because our modern age allows us to choose from a large assortment of much safer plants and fungi to form a relationship with. Plus, the tools of modern science, which allow us to test how safe things are showing us that many of them can be very helpful without the difficult side effects. Teaching what those are is, of course, what much of Stone Age Man is all about. There you have it. I hope you now know a little bit more about this beautiful plant called Datura, or Jimsonweed, as we know here in the United States. If you find one near you, I would encourage you to do what I'm doing right now. Get down in it, smell the flowers. I think this is how you get to know plants a little bit better. Definitely don't taste it. Don't eat the flowers. None of that is good. We're talking about risk prevention in this video, and I hope now you have a better understanding of why you shouldn't do that. But like all of the plants that we look at here on Stone Age Man, I hope you leave with a fascination for how the plant world has adapted to its environment and now has all this amazing chemistry inside. And we'll see you in the next one.
Rob said, feel this. thinking it was going to be a spongy sort of texture. It ain't spongy. It's as rock hard as an acorn, so avoid this like the plague.